and find something you're passionate about besides Ziggy.
Thank you. Madam Foley, if you'll stand for me. Have you reached a verdict?
Yes, sir, we have.
Is it unanimous?
Yes, sir, it is.
All right, if you will pass it up to the clerk, who will pass it to me. And you may be seated. The defendant will rise. Madam Clerk, you may publish the verdict starting with the back, not with the, let's see, I'll tell you again. Starting with the back, flipping them over one by one.
Okay.
State of South Carolina versus.
Docket number 2022 GS 15-00592, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions in the term of 2022, July, the State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Okay. Guilty verdict, signed by the forelady, 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00593, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions, the July term of 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Verdict, guilty. Signed by the forelady. Date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00595. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code -16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549. Verdict, guilty. Signed by the foreperson of the jury. Date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00594. The State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant. Indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime. SC Code 16-23-0490. CDR Code 0549. Verdict, guilty. Signed by the foreperson of the jury, 3/2/23.
Thank you. Madam Forelady and members of the jury, if that is the verdict of each and every juror, please let it be known by raising your right hands. All right, thank you. Any individual polling requested? Madam Clerk, you'll need to individually poll the jury according to their juror numbers.
Number 193. Was this your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 254.
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 326. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 530. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is this your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 544.
Yes.
Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 572. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 578. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 589. Was this your verdict? Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 630. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 729. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 826. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 864. Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Your Honor, the jury has been polled.
Thank you. The jury has been polled and the verdict is a unanimous verdict. If you will bring the alternate juror out and have her have a seat in the audience, please. You can stand there or you can sit back there, whatever you prefer. Okay. Are there any post-trial motions?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we would just renew our previously argued motions for directed verdict, and at this on the grounds, on those grounds, we would make a motion for a mistrial and to set aside the verdict.
By the state, response.
Your Honor, based on our previous arguments, we would submit that the case properly went to the jury and the verdict is proper and would rely on those arguments.
We've been here now 28 days, first few days of jury selection, and the remainder receiving testimony, an overwhelming amount of testimony and evidence that was presented to the jury for the jury's consideration. As I indicated to the jury during the jury charge, or the charge on the law, that this was a matter solely for the jury to determine. The court found at the end of the state's case that there's sufficient evidence to find the defendant guilty if the evidence was believed by the jury. Likewise, at the end of the defense's case, when the motion was renewed, the court found that the evidence was sufficient for the jury to find the defendant guilty. The jury has now considered the evidence for a significant period of time, and the evidence of guilt is overwhelming, and I deny the motion. Mr. Murdaugh, you now having been found guilty of 2 counts of murder involving your wife and your son, 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, the burden now comes upon the court to impose a sentence. Given the lateness of the hour and the victim's rights that must be taken into consideration and complied with under the Victim's Bill of Rights, and consider what I would anticipate to be a number of people who might have something to say regarding sentencing, we will defer sentencing to a later date. Of course, the minimum sentence for murder is 30 years. The maximum sentence is life imprisonment. As to each count, and on the weapons charge, the sentence is up to 5 years, or 5 years, which has to be concurrent if a life sentence is imposed. When would you all like to reconvene for sentencing? I would like to give everyone an adequate opportunity to prepare for it.
State will be ready at 9:30 in the morning, Your Honor.
We could do it at 9:30 tomorrow morning also.
All right. The defendant is remanded to the custody of the Colleton County Sheriff's Department. And he may be taken away. Madam Forelady and members of the jury, I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of the state of South Carolina.
Oh my gosh. You guys haven't been able to hear me this whole time? You're kidding, right? Where are you guys going? Her house. I'm staying the night. Hold on one second. Oh my God. Nobody heard me talk the whole time. No wonder, like, what the hell? I was talking about how intense and wow. I was talking about the Murdaugh trial. Like, I didn't plan on playing that at all, but I went live and all of a sudden Kelly comes in and says she has to go because there's a verdict in for the Alex Murdaugh trial. And I was like, oh shit, really? And so it was just like, just the timing was crazy. So we just watched that, but I thought I was sitting there. I thought I was talking like the whole time. Like I was even, oh my God, wow. Okay. So I apologize about that, but okay, we're good now, I guess. That was intense. That was very, very intense. Holy shit. And what I was saying too is like, he hasn't been in custody this whole time. So he was bonded out then, right? Yes, they found him guilty of everything. And Mama T, you guys have to watch the sentence or the verdict. Oh my God. Like it was intense. Like my heart is still beating really fast. It was like sitting there watching the face of him and his son and just seeing a guy who had everything, a family that was affluent and prestigious and well respected, go like to nothing. I heard a theory here recently, and I'm wondering if anybody else, like, what they think, that he did it basically as a way to save his wife from the pain of their son going to prison, and save also Paul the having to go through all that. And so it was actually a mercy type kill. What do you guys think about that? Oh, I know. That's what I was saying when I was muted, when I thought I was talking to you guys, and I told everybody thank you for the birthday wishes and stuff. And I've been talking since the beginning, but obviously to myself. But that's what I was saying. I was like, that was incredibly sad. I almost felt like crying. It was just, I don't feel bad for him. I don't feel bad for Alex at all. I feel bad for Buster. Even though after watching the Netflix documentary about this whole situation, I don't know what to think about Buster really either, because his supposed ties to this other kid's murder. If you guys haven't seen the Netflix documentary or whatever it is on Alex Murdaugh, the Murdaughs, you need to watch it. It is very good. I think the whole family was corrupt, but the kids learned from their parents, definitely their dad. They got bailed out of everything. It was sad overall. To make himself look sympathetic. Oh, you think so bad? That's a different theory. That's interesting. Did it to try to get community to feel bad for him that his wife and son were killed, and maybe he wouldn't maybe they would be lenient on him or something. Didn't think about that. He had a loss, though. That's exactly why I wanted to buy time with sympathy. See, I was just thinking, the theory about it being like some kind of mercy kill or sympathy kill, where I don't know what the term would be, to try to save his wife and his son from, kind of like the people who go crazy and then kill their kids because they think their kids are possessed by, or they think they have to kill their kids or they're going to be like, I don't know, that way that their kids can go to heaven and not be possessed by it. I have no idea. Just the craziest shit, Caitlin. Sorry, she might have to mute here in a second and go talk to her for a second about she wanted to hang out with a friend. That was wow. So nobody knows if he's been bonded out this whole time? Or was that like taking into custody thing? Was that just for show? Like all the terrible corrupt behavior, so they are doomed from the beginning in one way or another. Oh yeah, I bet hell is worse, right? True. I mean, it's just looking at Alex, whatever his name is, standing there being sentenced as a man who had freaking everything. Him standing there just like broken, has nothing, can't benefit from the money, or has nothing. Look what greed does to people, man. I don't know in this situation if it was greed or drugs or both. I mean, which came first, the chicken or the egg? Maybe the addiction came first and these like fraudulent behaviors started happening. Play part of it again while I go, okay, that's a good idea. I'll do that for a second. That was intense, though. That was highly intense. Let me see here. If I could find. Okay, here we go. Okay, here, let me.
15-00592, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions in the term of 2022, July, the State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116. Okay. Guilty verdict, signed by the forelady, 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00593, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, in the Court of General Sessions, the July term of 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for murder, SC Code 16-3-0010, CDR Code 0116, verdict guilty, signed by the forelady, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00595, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, SC Code -16-23-0490, CDR Code 0549, verdict guilty, signed by the foreperson of the jury, date 3/2/23. Docket number 2022-GS-15-00594, the State of South Carolina, County of Colleton, Court of General Sessions, July term 2022. The State versus Richard Alexander Murdaugh, defendant, indictment for possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, SC Code 16-23-0490, CDR Code 0549, verdict guilty, signed by the foreperson of the jury, 3/2/23.
Thank you. Madam Forelady and members of the jury, if that is the verdict of each and every juror, please let it be known by raising your right hands. All right, thank you. Any individual polling requested? All right, Madam Clerk, you'll need to individually poll the jury according to their juror numbers.
Number 193. Was this your verdict?
Yes, sir.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 254, was this 29? Was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 826, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Juror 864, was this your verdict?
Yes.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes.
Your Honor, the jury has been polled.
Thank you. The jury has been polled and the verdict is a unanimous verdict. If you will bring the alternate juror out and have her have a seat in the audience, please. You can stand there or you can sit back there, whatever you prefer. Okay. Are there any post-trial motions?
State, Your Honor.
We would just renew our previously argued motions for directed verdict, and at this, on the grounds, on those grounds, we would make a motion for a mistrial and to set aside the verdict.
By the state, response.
Your Honor, based on our previous arguments, we would submit that the case properly went to the jury and the verdict is proper, and would rely on those arguments.
We've been here now 28 days, first few days of jury selection and the remainder receiving testimony, an overwhelming amount of testimony and evidence that was presented to the jury for the jury's consideration. As I indicated to the jury during the jury charge, or the charge on the law, that this was a matter solely for the jury to determine. The court found at the end of the state's case that there's sufficient evidence to find the defendant guilty if the evidence was believed by the jury. Likewise, at the end of the defense's case, when the motion was renewed, the court found that the evidence was sufficient for the jury to find the defendant guilty. The jury has now considered the evidence for a significant period of time, and the evidence of guilt is overwhelming, and I deny the motion. Mr. Murdaugh, you now having been found guilty of 2 counts of murder involving your wife and your son, 2 counts of possession of a weapon during the commission of a violent crime, the burden now comes upon the court to impose a sentence. Given the lateness of the hour and the victim's rights that must be taken into consideration and complied with under the Victim's Bill of Rights, and consider what I would anticipate to be a number of people who might have something to say regarding sentencing, we will defer sentencing to a later date. Of course, the minimum sentence for murder is 30 years. The maximum sentence is life imprisonment as to each count. And on the weapons charge, the sentence is up to 5 years, or 5 years, which has to be concurrent if a life sentence is imposed. When would you all like to reconvene for sentencing? I would like to give everyone an adequate opportunity to prepare for it.
So be ready at 9:30 in the morning, Your Honor.
We can do it at 9:30 tomorrow morning also.
All right, the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Colleton County Sheriff's Department. And he may be taken away.
Okay, so that's why when this part, that's what I was asking about. Was that done for? I mean, has he been in custody or not this whole time? Boy, see, Paul having that recording on his phone, proving Alex was there, helped a lot. I'm sure Alex was. I know, and also that I also wasn't it. Didn't Buster have something that on his phone or something that Buster posted? Wasn't there something also Buster did that? There was that. I know, but I think actually that probably was something that was the universe or something just had happen or lined everything perfectly so that recording would be there. So he wouldn't get away with such a thing. People think they're gonna get away with these types of things, but there's always something, there's always something. And I'm kind of, how do you guys think he was feeling right then? Well, you think he was I don't know. I was just surprised he wasn't crying. The other one we watched earlier, when I first watched the verdict, we watched a different one. It wasn't that one. The first one, I mean, it was the same, obviously the same, but it was a different channel we watched it on. And the one we watched it on the first time you could see Buster and Paul, it was zoomed in on both of them. And that was really interesting. And I felt, I just couldn't imagine. I was sitting there thinking, man, I just wonder how I would like to be able to just feel for a second how he's feeling, because I mean, not that I'd want to feel like he's feeling, but I just can't imagine being in that position. You think Buster was angry? I thought, oh, or do you think, to me, at some points, I thought, I mean, Alex looked like he could have been angry too, but that's what I really want. I kind of thought Buster looked angry, but I'm like, okay, who is he angry at? Is he angry at his dad or oh, there's a recording, Sherry, that Paul, from when he posted on, I think it was Snapchat or something. He made a Snapchat that if that Snapchat was not ever done, he could have maybe got away with it. Because the Snapchat, Paul, before he was murdered, he did a Snapchat of the dogs, and then in the background you can hear Maggie, and then you hear another voice, which is dun dun dun, Alex Trebek. No, Alex Murdaugh, and he said he wasn't there. So that was, and also there was also a witness who talked to Paul right before he was murdered, a friend of Paul's, and Paul, and he said that he was 99% sure he heard Alex. But then, this recording came out and was like, okay, yeah, he was definitely there when he was trying to say he wasn't there. And they tried to spin it like, or he said the reason why he tried to make it or lied about being there was because he knew that people always think it's the husband. It's like, so he was scared, is what he said. Thank you, Kathy. Yeah, there probably will be. I'm sure he'll try whatever he can, appeals wise or whatever, to I mean, what's he have to lose now? He's gonna try whatever, I'm sure. So, like I said, I wasn't even planning on watching that because, well, I didn't know it was going to happen. It just so happened to happen right at the same exact time I was going live. And I had no idea. So, anyways, okay, where to start? Well, we've already started, but where to go to next? He blamed drugs for everything. Thank you guys for the birthday wishes. I really appreciate it. It's been actually a pretty good day. Overall, not bad. And I have a lot of messages and emails and texts from you guys saying happy birthday, and it definitely cheered me up. So I definitely appreciate it. Does anybody know who's live right now? Because I didn't even look, but it seems as if somebody's live just by how many people are in here right now. Also, the first 10 minutes of my live, I didn't have sound and I didn't know it. So there was a bunch of people that came in and just left. I almost thought about restarting, but it's not a big deal. So I also just got done watching Benny's live. About his situation with Tiffany. What do you guys think about it? Justin's live. Once he testified, he had nothing to lose, though. He's admitted to all those financial crimes in court of law, so he's going to jail forever. Yeah, you're right. He's going to jail forever no matter what. So I guess he was already. Of course, I want to. No, I didn't. I forgot to ask her, but sorry, I got distracted by that question because I do need to ask her. Because it was stated in Kathy the Friend's video, what we're talking about contacting the JAB, about if the JAB is listening or whatever. I guess I could go ahead and bring it up. So Kathy said that the whole thing about somebody paying for the child support, she said that was not true. So that's what I was going to ask Jab about, because I don't think, though, I don't know how much. I'd like to ask Kathy, though, if she ever hears this, like, did anybody pay any of the child support? When she said nobody paid off the child support, that was a lie. Does that mean nobody paid anything, or does nobody paid it completely off? You know what I mean? Does she know of anybody paying on some of it? Nobody paid it. But I'm wondering if nobody paid, like, even because I'd have to go through my messages, but I thought I was under the impression Job said she paid it off, but maybe she only paid on it. I guess they were kind of dating Mama T. And according to him, they did get kind of into, close. They never, I don't think they had met, but aw, thank you, Pauline. She sent me a Cashapp. Thank you. So, yeah, I guess that they had something going on. But basically, I didn't really understand it. I mean, I get what he was saying and stuff. I do. But still, at the same time, I don't know. Maybe he can't mention everything. Maybe he was just like leaving some stuff out that he didn't want to talk about yet. But I still didn't quite understand it. And I did watch the whole thing. It didn't seem as like, I thought it was going to be way, way worse than what he said, I guess. Basically, he was just mad that Tiffany put up that video, or went over that video with Margie or something, or that Tiffany had Margie on or something, or posted damaged goods, something about Tiffany. I didn't see it if she did have them on or whatever. But anyways, that's what he seemed upset about. I'm sure he had a good reason or whatever. But I don't know. I guess there was a lot of weird things he said happened that he didn't understand. He thought at first that she was having some kind of mental breakdown or something was, and he seemed serious. He wasn't trying to be funny or anything, I don't think. He wasn't being like especially mean or anything like that. He was just saying he did get nudes of her because he said he wouldn't show them. He would never do something like that. So, I guess they were dating. Her and Candace don't talk now. They were dating, but you know how that rumor stuff goes. I know. At first, like, nobody really knew. Like, when I would say stuff like that, I didn't know for sure, obviously, but it seemed like it. They didn't deny it. That's my kid's middle name after my grandmother. We spell it with the Z, though. Mazel. Huh, yeah. How many houses and properties did the Murdaughs have? His face, it looks like his face gets red, Betty. Which I'm sure it probably does because he's very fair-skinned. Yay! Thank you, Mimi. Oh, I know that Kathy contacted Candace, so now they're talking again. The only thing I can imagine with that situation, as far as why they were not talking, the only thing I can think of is probably Dawn related. Or maybe she was disappointed that Candace started drinking again, after, I don't know. He also claimed pictures went to a couple other folks as well, and he don't have to show if he's going to start listing half a dozen dudes you've sent them to. Did he mention other people that she sent them to? All I heard him say was something about Chase, like that there was a rumor that she sent him to Chase, but he said he didn't know, he couldn't say, he doesn't know for sure if that's correct. I do think it's like crappy that he went to John Crimes, like her biggest like enemy. I do think that's shitty. I have to admit with that, but at least he's not being like, that's pretty shitty, but he wasn't being like out of line on his live today, really. Because I don't know, I just don't know if the crime fits the punishment, basically. Like, I don't know if what Tiffany did really really equals like him being that upset. I don't know. I'm trying to decide. Like where he would go to John Crimes, you know what I mean? Or I don't know. I guess there's a lot to it. There's a lot. I guess I'm probably forgetting some stuff right now. It's hard to keep everything in context. Well, yeah, I'm sure AB, like, that would probably be about a given because they had a thing going for a long time. Probably like a year. Yeah, I know. I wouldn't like that either. Hopefully he's for real. Just, we all know how both of them can be. Um, I mean, the things he was saying, though, are a lot of them were true. She does seem to have a socially sometimes doesn't, I don't know. Thank you, Sheba. Oh, I'm sure Dawn doesn't want her having friends. I mean, of course, especially if she knows something about where Summer is, because I feel like he's the main one. So he doesn't want her going and telling people stuff. But I don't know. Candace had the perfect opportunity to come forth with what she knew and get herself, to have the best chance at not getting arrested. She should have just, if she truly just knows about it, she really should have already taken that opportunity. Well, to Benny, as she did, Chastity. I mean, it was obvious that, well, I mean, he says she did, but he wasn't talking like it was a bad thing or anything. He wasn't calling her out. It just came up in a conversation, as he was talking. I mean, the worst thing he called her was slithers, and he wasn't particularly hateful, really. I was surprised. I know, because she's not going to be as, like he said, graceful. She's not going to have as much grace, I don't think. I think she can get whoa. So can he. So can Benny, but he's not as bad as he used to be. I have to give him that. He's gotten better. He doesn't hang on to things as long as he used to. And he doesn't bully as much as he used to, I guess I should say. I do think it's weird, though. I don't know what to think, though, with him talking to Dawn and them. I'm confused where he stands. As far as the Summer Wells situation. I know, Mimi, we watched it. I didn't think it was too terrible at all, Smokey. I thought he was very, I was expecting it to be I'm sure that some people talked to him beforehand, though, and made sure to, calm him down and be don't lose your cool. I guarantee Penny had a little bit of a talk with him beforehand. Maybe it's it could be. He probably, I think, well, you know how, and he even mentioned it, how we're all our own worst enemy, okay? It's all about the ball is in Tiffany's court right now. And it's all about how she responds to this, what, Benny's put out with them. If she can handle it gracefully, then maybe things won't be as much explosive as I think. But I don't know. That's kind of I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna go hide for. I kind of have a feeling she might hide for a couple weeks. I don't know if she's gonna be rebuttal at all. The way Benny was talking, it's like they had some type of thing in Discord, like she was planning, and I knew though that she is in Discords, like she like when she was really coming after me, for instance. Her and others would sit there and watch me in these like Discord lives, and to see if I mentioned her, because the second if I was talking like this right now, like at that time, for example, oh, she'd be right there in seconds. Her and like 20 others. I'm like, what the hell? People really do this? See, I don't do that shit. I did Discord for a very short time, and I was like, oh no, this is major trouble. Hey, Sammy. She stalks people from her Discord. Yes, and she gets other people into it though, and that's the thing. And the people that follow though and just do go along with it are even worse. Because I mean, at least Tiffany's like being a leader in a way. Kinda. She gets so stuck on these guys. Well, we have to think though. How did she deal with the AB thing? I think she hid. I don't think she went live about AB when he was going live about her. Did she even? I don't think she even addressed him. Yeah, that's true. You can't lurk in the bushes in Discord. Oh, I know. It's very complicated. It's not well. In my opinion, Discord has a lot of things to fix with their app or their whole platform. It's so confusing. Even for somebody that's tech savvy, it's on a computer, it's been using this kind of stuff their whole life. Discord's freaking confusing. It's just, I don't know. It's not put together right. I don't know how to explain it. But there was a lot of drama because what happens is people get together. It's like the drama from YouTube. These people that have a Discord, like Tiffany Marie, like she can't ever escape the drama because once she gets off YouTube, she's in Discord, and she's highly active in our Discord, like always there. I could not keep up with YouTube and Discord. It was a lot. I felt bad because I wasn't ever in my own Discord, but I sure felt the brunt of it. I'm the one that had to deal with all the backlash of the Discord, even though I wasn't even in there. But what happens is like people go to these Discords and they meet and they kind of talk about, the lives that what happened in the community that night on YouTube, and people get to talking and little clicks start happening. And then people like join forces and it's craziness. Never watched her except on Benny News and didn't watch that much, but from what I have seen, she likes a good fight. I don't know. I think that she's can be really, really mean. And I don't like how she is to Christy. I just think she's been completely unfair to her and completely unfair to a few others. Like, she comes up, just like Benny was saying, like, that people need to know this, okay? Because she can be very convincing. People need to know that she has some, issues, okay? And I'm not trying to be mean at all, because she can't help it. But, I mean, she probably can't, unless she can see a doctor and I don't know. But anyways, because I don't want to be mean. I'm just saying, like, people need to know, like, she comes up with these crazy theories. And what's crazier is the people that follow it and go along with them. Like, the whole meeting, somebody suggesting she goes to Bays Mountain, and then next thing you know, that person is trying to kill me. What? And people believe that shit. Like she got people all it's just craziness. So that's why it's so confusing. That's why she's so baffling, is because sometimes she can seem so grounded and in reality, and sometimes she seems like kind of out there. Yeah, I watched his video on speed 1.5 to get it done in half the time. Yeah, because she gets really defensive. She's a prideful person, so it's hard for her to. And I'm not even trying to be mean or talk bad about her. See, these are the things I would say before, and she would just think I was saying the most horrible things. And I don't. I don't know. I do think that she has some issues, and so in some ways I feel bad for her, because I think she has some, things that she needs to handle with herself. But at the same time, you can't, I don't appreciate, and the community doesn't appreciate her coming on here and causing problems and drama every freaking day. Oh, it was about me, Smokey. Wasn't it just about being in my chat or something? Or maybe I'm thinking of a different incident. No, she isn't, Rhonda. She doesn't live in Tennessee. Am I happy or muted? What? Well, I didn't talk much during the beginning of it anyways, because I was at the edge of my seat when that verdict was being read. So I was not going to speak really much during it. I was just... What is my daughter doing? Hey, Mama too. Hey, Rue. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is with that situation. It's sad. But we knew it was going to happen, of course. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Happy birthday. It's funny. Birthday, it doesn't even... Happy to take you, Smiley. Now let's all sing together. Degree, I match energies. If you're good to me, I'm good to you. If you're mean, I don't. Exactly, Chastity. Did you see my community post from a couple days ago? That is just how I am, and it's not something that I can change, or I don't even think about it. I just am decent. I'm a decent person. I match energies also. I feel like if you're good to me, I'm going to be decent to you. Even if you have said, even if I've heard that you're and seen you in another chat talking the most horrible shit about me. Now, there is some, that whole situation with, the one situation I had and surrounding Jim, and when Jim passed and stuff, that's different. I can't, I don't want any of those people around. But if somebody's in another chat talking shit about me and I see them in here, and, I know people find it, say, sometimes some of the people in here will call those people out and stuff, and I understand. But if they're decent to me, I mean, I'm going to be decent to them. And it's not like, I don't see the reason to just cause drama for no reason. If I was going to bitch at every single person I've seen, talk shit about me in other chats, it would never end. You're genuinely freaking out that was summer, and I don't know in my mind. I was genuinely freaking out that was summer. What do you mean, Smokey? It was the bone situation. Oh, because I said something to the effect of, y'all settle down. I can guarantee that's not summer, which it was the day after you found them. And I was using my logic. And I didn't insinuate it was summer. It's just people insinuated that themselves. It's just me basically talking about what happened. At that time, I talked about everything in my life. And, that was my first time in Tennessee. And, right, it was the first time for summer. I think it was the first time. I've been there now 3 times. So I'm trying to, every 6 months I've gone. So I was new at YouTube. It was my first time doing something like that, and I was just so open and talked about everything. So when that bones incident happened, I didn't think much of it when I came on and talked about it. I was just I just bringing it up. Oh, Fred showed me some bones or whatever. And I did mention that some were animal bones but we didn't know if all of them were, because it was odd. It looked to be like a deer mandible, but like I said, everything was crushed up for some odd reason. Yeah, the teeth weren't correct for it to be a human, but what I think that Fred was thinking, because it's what I gathered and how I kind of thought of it too, is the way they were crushed up and stuff. Could somebody made it look like it was animal bones and crushed up bones with animal bones and kind of threw that mandible in there to make it look like, oh, it's all deer bones, because it wasn't like people think, like a skeleton or something. Obviously, if it was a skeleton, we're going to be able to see that it's an animal. it's a whole animal, but no, they were all crushed up and all over the place. And it was like a weird burn pile thing. And there was like a tire. And little did I know at the time that tires are used in fires to make them get hotter. Because she gets people like that. She has a way of getting people riled up. She would be good at, like, I don't know, a pep rally or something. Yeah, there's burnt tire. It's always reserved in her. It was weird. Why was these crushed bones that were burnt in a burn pile all over the place? And like it was not just bones in a burn pile. It was like outside of the burn area. And yeah, there was evidence that tire had been burned. And it was just odd, And I wasn't going to take any chances and not call. Can you imagine if I didn't call that in and I told you guys about I was very new to all this. Yeah, so better safe than sorry, right? I mean, he said that they came out there and collected them and they had all kinds of people out there supposedly. But so let's see. Let me check to see here.
But I don't know for sure what went on behind closed doors. None of us do. I know Summer had a lot of bruises, some of them on her face that looked pretty bad, but we can't say for sure where those came from. We should be careful speculating on things like that, though. We can have our own personal thoughts, but this is very much real life. And there are children involved in this case that are going to have access to the internet and will possibly even listen to this very stream one day. So just please be careful how you word things and things that you say about Summer and that could have happened to her. Just be careful how you word it, because
But RJ, but what would be the point of crushing the bones? Is that typical for somebody to crush bones up? And why would they even be in a burn pile? Here you talk about Pet Mom. You mean Jody Sue? Well, I know better now, Smokey. You live and you learn, Takes me a long time to learn my freaking lesson on shit sometimes. How do you know? Did you put them out there? You live right by there, don't you? So then why? So that was so that's like that's what I'm talking about is so hypocritical with her. Like, why she was trying to act like she was mad at me because I came on YouTube and talked about bones, and she said I was saying that they were Summer's bones, okay? But yet here she is arguing with you, trying to make it seem like it was Summer's bones or something. Like she was mad because you said they probably weren't Summer's bones. Like, but what I thought you were mad, Tiffany, that I supposedly insinuated those were Summer's bones. I would never do such a thing. Oh, bone meal. Oh, okay. I never thought of that, RJ. They crush them up like that? Huh. Okay. Woohoo! I need a birthday thingamajig. Like a sound. Stream Deck. I haven't opened this for a while. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. That's why I was going to download something like that. I really am though getting kind of worried that a lot of people are moving away from the summer case. It just feels like they are. Oh, I'm sure Krugs. It's probably best for her though not to, just to kind of disconnect and not watch any of it. I don't know how she deals with it because me being only on here for a year and a half, like I learned relatively quickly that I can't watch the stuff about me. It gets too upsetting. It makes you want to go. It just keeps the drama going because you want to go on there and defend yourself, and so I don't watch it. I try to avoid at all costs seeing anything people are saying about me because I've noticed how much in the drama community or whatever, how much like everything pretty much put out is 90% of the stuff people put out is like just completely false or exaggerated. So, I don't know how she's able to now over 3 years now, right? I don't know how long she's been on here, but how she's able to, for 3 years, watch all that shit about her. Like that would really do a number on your mental health. I mean, even if you don't think it is, on your health in general, because stress is really bad for your health. And if Tiffany already has like some health issues, she doesn't want to exasperate them. Am I saying that word right? Or make them worse with stress. Stress is like accelerates a lot of illnesses. She doesn't. I know at least she's been around here for 3 years. I would think at least 4 because I thought it was 3 when I first started. Yeah, Lil Quentin's. I wish they would find Michael Vaughn to get some closure they got these people arrested, but right? That's a whole other crazy thing. I want to know what they have on these people who they arrested in the Michael Vaughn thing. I said last time, hey, people are legitimately upset in here, and I'm just trying to calm them down using my reasoning skills. Why do you want people upset? See, exactly. I know. I don't know. She, like, when she's mad, she wants to be mad, you know? If you know, that's just how she is. You've noticed, like, sometimes she gets in these really zen moods when she's in her really, like, very calm moods. You'll notice, like, she'll be more reasonable and, like, not, I don't know. And she won't get angry too quickly, but when she's angry, there's no stopping her. There's no stopping her. Overproduction of cortisol in the body. Yeah. I think that I don't have any scholarly sites pulled up right this second, but I think it's pretty safe to say without showing the evidence that stress accelerates cancer. There's been a lot of studies done on that, and it definitely is. I mean, it's like your mindset is everything. There's even stories about people, their health going in turning around for the positive and being completely cured just by keeping a positive mindset, believing that you're healed. I know it's crazy, but the mind is a powerful thing.
Because I don't want anything said about Summer that's too drastic in a chat. If you have something drastic to say, just email me at lilwing0201@gmail.com. We see what we see, and we can't unsee what we see. If there's any chance of working together with Summer's parents to find answers for Summer, we will have to be approachable. If there's a chance someone is going to get close enough to Candace and they get the opportunity to ask her questions to help find Summer, I feel the first thing we should do is sort out the timeline. The farm should really work on that with Candace. But I feel at this point, Candace will not tell them any more than she has already publicly said, or she would have said more by now. But it's not too late to ask these questions. Like what was going on between 3:30 and 6:30 p.m. on June 15th of 2021. It doesn't take more than a few minutes to transplant a cactus or two. Even throwing laundry in the mix doesn't add up with the timeline. It's been edging on 2 years. It's March now, and Summer went missing June 15th of 2021. And Candace is saying now that she wishes to God she knew what happened, yet she's given us 0 more clues. I don't know what it will take to get Candace to tell more. She must know more. I don't see the benefit of lying to the public about the last time she saw Summer. Why would she only tell Ellie the truth and not the public? Was she asked by Ellie not to tell what really happened for the sake of the investigation? I find that very suspicious. And allegedly, Candace won't talk to the police when they first came up there either. I would ask her about that too. Why didn't she want to talk to the police when they first came up there? Because that's what people are saying. If that is true, I would ask Candace about who all wanted to buy her house. We know she said Jody Sue wanted her house and her property. Did Andrew Hiltz or his cousin Jeffy want to buy that property? When Andrew came down and left Jose there, did Candace really offer for all of those people to stay at her house? I wonder how she was planning on accommodating all of these people. Did she think they were going to pay her or something maybe? I want to know why Jose is such a mystery, why Candace acted like she couldn't remember his name when Chris McDonough asked about him, and why Andrew Hiltz is trying to protect him, or was trying to protect him. Andrew says that Jose was only at the wells for a month, but we know that's not true. I believe it was more like 6 months at least, according to everything I have heard. But that is another question I would ask Candace. How long did Jose really stay at your house if you really sat down and thought about it? I believe Andrew is someone that we should talk about because I know he met Summer.
Okay, sorry, I had to step away for a second. I was talking to my daughter, so I haven't heard a lot of what has been said, but I heard her talking about Andrew and yeah, I would like to know the Jose thing and the mystery surrounding Jose. I would say the mystery. Oh, I'd say this: the mystery surrounding the trip is what. Man, if we could just know what that trip was all about and how long Jose was actually really there. Stress greatly impacted because it happened during the most stressful point of my life. Oh, really, Smokey? Maybe stress is what mutates the cell into cancer. Hey, I won't be surprised if it has something to do with it. Like it speeds up some kind of. It doesn't do any good. Well, stress is there for our protection, right? It's like the whole fight or flight thing. It's a way to body's response to fear, so they know when to fight or flight. But besides that, there's really nothing. I mean, the over anxiety is just it's so bad for you. The anxiety, it's crippling, and it doesn't do any good to just stress about stuff you can't change. Have to just sometimes try to keep life in perspective and be like, can I do anything about this right now? Let's say, even if you think, let's say you're being evicted or something. I mean, it would be very stressful and scary, right? Especially having kids and not knowing where to go or whatever. But all you can do is like what you can do. If it makes steps towards fixing it. You just have to find plan B. But man, it's a learning process though, how to deal with stress. And I do believe, like, certain situations I've been through has definitely helped me be able to deal with trauma much better. Like now I feel like I can almost deal with anything except my daughter. If anything happened to my daughter, obviously, but I feel like I can pretty much almost deal with anything after what I just went through.
He might not have been in her life, but his son was. His son was with Summer the day she disappeared. Andrew is suspicious to a lot of people because of the way he talks and a lot of the things he says. He doesn't have a lot of couth, like in this interview with Jay is for Justice podcast, which we'll watch now.
Oh, that's the word. Little wing here hat. That's the word. Don doesn't have any couth. You know how he talks, like how I was trying to describe how he's socially, I don't know, just doesn't relate to social norms. He doesn't abide by it. Not like, it's not like he's really rebelling. I don't think he's like, feels like he's rebelling. It's just like natural to him because he's grown. That's all he's known. So, and Andrew is like kind of the same way. Like socially kind of says some things that are shocking and like, what the hell? You're just not acting like you should, Do you really think he's passed though, Smokey? I just don't know what to think about that situation. Right, Smokey? But now though you know how to better deal with high stress situations, I'm sure, like since you've been through that. I mean, because it's in life, like we're always going to have these like tower moments, using tower, that's like from the tarot. But it's like a major, where everything falls apart and it's a completely new beginning. And we're going to always have these things that just completely seem to break us down. But does get easier after dealing with something very, very, very traumatic. Hey, Robin. You feel like you're, yeah. Yeah, that's what I do too. I stress so bad, but I'm really trying to, and I see it in my daughter, and I just I hate that because we inherited it from my dad. My dad's very, very, very high stress. Now, he's definitely never had major health issues. My family is like very healthy. I don't think, I mean, for the, generally my family's pretty healthy. Like, I can't think of anybody in my family has really had any, like, had cancer or anything. Like, my grandfather had heart issues and stuff, but he ended up living to, 87, I think. Eye problems, things like that is big in our family. And there's some depression. Thank you, Cindy L. I feel like Jose was really depressed and he was genuinely concerned about Summer missing, I felt. I hope so. I hope that was what it was, but I just wonder if there was something that he knew or that trip is just so suspicious. That trip from New York is so suspicious. There's something very, very strange. Nobody gets in a van. Especially not, you don't get like 10 to 12 of them like they say there was, right? And just go somewhere when they don't know where they're going. Isn't that basically what happened? They just go, because to do what? Like find, what was the whole story? To try to find somewhere to stay or something? It doesn't even make sense. Thank you, Destiny. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Dang it, I need to find a sound. Oh yeah, I did. I thought I opened Stream Deck to. Maybe it's not on. Maybe I deleted it accidentally. Both my grandfathers died. My last living great grandmother and my aunt I was close to again. Both my dogs in separate incidents. Wow. Oh, hold on. Well, okay, come tell me when you are going, okay?
Okay.
And I'll mute and.
All right.
I got very ill in 2019. I do attribute it to the stress of 2018, but I got in therapy. I'm much better now, both physically and mentally. Probably made you like a lot stronger. Told me a lot of people are experiencing what they call cluster deaths because of baby boomers generation dying out. Oh. Right, Chastity? Oh, it definitely was a weird trip, and I think of it often, but we just don't know. Yeah, I know.
Okay. This is on JS for Justice podcast. It was streamed 1 year ago and it's called Live. H's dad calls, answers questions. Where is Jose? Summer Wells case.
Hey, Andrew. Okay, yeah, we're good. We got a good connection now. So how can I know that this is you, though? How do I know this is really Hunter's dad? Oh, can you turn down your YouTube? Okay, cool.
Full name Hunter Carmine Malini, who was born 15th of March. Not to mention, his mother and I are friends. That's why I went down to Tennessee with Jose, and it was Jose's choice to stay there when we came back up here. We had a house down there, but we needed 3 days for it to be ready. And we put.
Okay, so listen to this part again because this is important. What he says about what they were going down there for.
One simple reason. Hunter's whole name is Hunter Carmine Mullaney. He was born the 15th of March down there, but we needed 3 days for it to be ready, and we couldn't find a hotel for our group, so we came back to New York. And Hunter had
So if they were going to move down there, all these people were going to actually move. They were uprooting their life from New York to move down to Tennessee. But it fell through because the house wasn't going to be ready for, I believe he said 30 days. So why didn't they go back after 30 days and get it if they were really planning on moving? Because if I was really planning on moving somewhere and I really wanted to get out of Ohio and I was moving all the way down to Tennessee, which I guess isn't as far as New York, but okay, let's say I wanted to move to Florida. That's about the same distance, right? So let's say I moved from Ohio to Florida and I get down there, packed all my stuff, had all these people with me, and then it fell through and they said it was going to be 30 days and I couldn't get a hotel. I wouldn't just move back and stay back in Ohio if there was a reason I was getting out of there, especially with all these people. I would wait the 30 days and just go back. So I wonder why he didn't do that.
at this current moment is safe. That's about as far as I can give up without getting in trouble from the DIB, because there's things going on with Hunter outside of this summer well case.
Oh, wow. So, okay, so you and Allie are friends. Thank you for clearing this up because we have all been wondering, and then, you know, stories are made up. I'm so glad that you called, okay? So, so you and Allie were never married. You had just Hunter together?
It was more of, I was young. My friend was screwing her at the time. I had beef with him because I did a jail sentence for something stupid, because like I said, I was young and dumb. And he was screwing around with my girlfriend at the time while I was in jail, so I got out and did it back to him, and Hunter was the product of that one night stand. Said I was young and dumb. More of, I was young, dumb. My friend was screwing her at the time. I had beef with him because I did a jail sentence for something stupid, because like I said, I was young and dumb. And he was screwing around with my girlfriend at the time while I was in jail, so I got out and did it back to him, and Hunter was the product of that one night stand. And
okay, so he allegedly had a one night stand. Well, he did, according to him, his very own words. He had a one night stand with somebody, which, hey, I'm not knocking him or whatever. I'm just saying this is what he said. And then that's how Hunter came about. He had a one night stand with Allie. So I guess they weren't in this big long relationship before. It was just a one night stand.
6 months, well, 9, I gotta think, 3, 12, 15 months later, I get paperwork in the mail stating that I have to go to court for DNA for Hunter. I went, did DNA, it came back positive that he was mine, and like I said, time I was going to dump, so I also wound up with full custody, me visitation, and that's when the whole shit went to shit.
Okay. And I won't, I don't want to get into your personal life or anything like that. Like, I don't want to infringe on your personal life. I mean, what's that? You're an open book?
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit either way. I mean, nobody can beat me up or down.
Sorry, I was trying to. They said the races were in town and all the. Much more Zen person now. Yeah. Are you a much more spiritual person, do you think? Do you think all that made you more spiritual or make you, It was very crazy. I mean, Jim's passing was definitely a huge turning point in my life. Huge. Big, I mean, I can't even describe. Let me see here. They're gonna move, but why just turn around the next day to leave? There's other places. Yeah, I don't know. They weren't. It doesn't seem right. Like they wouldn't have prepared a little bit better. I don't know. Seems weird, right? Something's missing. There's something not exact. Something's like off, or not being said. Like maybe it was a drug thing that they don't want to say. Like hopefully that's what it is a drug thing or something, and not like anything to do with children, because that's where my mind is going because of Summer being missing. Him and Allie both said that they dated for a while. Oh, did they? I always thought he said, always made it seem like they didn't really date, but I don't know. I didn't watch him much because I thought he was kind of full of shit. Like, after I heard him the first time, I was like, I just didn't feel like he doesn't seem like he's been really a big part of H's life. And it kind of seemed like, to me, it seemed like he was using H as a way to get, it seemed like he was using H to me after this, because of the summer situation, trying to get maybe a channel going or something. He likes attention, I think. Thank you, Bright Blue. Let's see.
I think we all know by now, and if you don't know this, Andrew is definitely an open book, and he's pretty much willing to talk to whoever about whatever, because even I reached out to him to try and do an interview once, but I ended up deciding not to, because I was like kind of on the fence about how I feel about Andrew, and I didn't want to be like conniving, I guess, or, you know, I didn't want to be like, act like I was cool with him when I wasn't really sure if I was or not, so I decided not to do it, but whatever.
But tell me about the things I've done more than I do myself on a daily.
I hear you. I hear you. So, I mean, if you beat yourself up every day, obviously that's punishment enough, right?
Oh yeah, it's just I know I made my mistakes in the past. I'm not what you call the ideal friend, husband, boyfriend, father. I really ain't. I just live my life one day at a time, and I make choices and I dealt with consequences.
I hear
The
you.
biggest thing on my record, in all honesty, is a robbery charge.
Okay. So you and Allie remain friends as like the parents of Hunter, right?
Well, yeah, that's like a new thing, such as like 2018.
Oh, okay. So you guys, like, how many guys came down with you?
It was me, my wife, our child, her child, my friend, my brother, who I'm gonna keep just as that, Jose, our friend, and her 5 went with us. So we were all basically.
He just said my brother. Doesn't he have a brother that's a offender? Or am I wrong? I could be wrong. I don't want to misspeak on something like that. But I could have sworn like his brother's like an offender or something. And that makes me uncomfortable if his brother was with him if an offender was with him going on a trip that I'm already kind of worried about that had to do with children. So I don't know. Am I wrong? Yeah, that's the thing. No tears. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder though, does he do this stuff? These shocking things for kind of like attention or what? Yeah, hit the like button for my birthday, guys. He said they couldn't find a place to stay because of the people from the races. Yeah. You don't think they had anything to do with Summer? I don't know. I didn't used to really think really much about it, but now, you know, okay. Hold on. All right, guys, I have to go. Hold on one second.
Basically just picked up and just wanted to get out of New York because we kind of don't like the way New York runs. So we just.
So that's like 13 or 14 people that went down there. I think he said the last part was and her 5, like her 5 kids, which would make it like 13 people. So, yeah, that's a lot of people to just go down there to move, and then just every single one of them decided to just say screw it, went home and never came back. I don't know, it's just something about that seems off to me. What do you all think?
Just wanted to get out of New York, and Tennessee was the halfway point for some of us and a stay point for some of us. We were actually going to stay in Tennessee because the schools are better, and our daughter would get the extra help that she needs with her reading and whatnot, unlike they do up here, which they have this no child left behind thing, where they just pass it along through school.
Yeah. So they have the better school system there.
Medium for my wife, she has a bad back.
So all of you guys went down there, and did you?
Do you guys believe that the reason they went down there was for a better school system?
No, I don't believe that at all. No. I just don't get that the impression that Andrew is, all about, school and education. He doesn't really give off that vibe. That could be a little bit judgmental or whatever, stereotypical, but he doesn't really seem to be like a super, like very responsible person, Yeah, throwing the phone in the ocean, another strange thing. I've done, crazy things like it when highly upset, I guess, like I just don't know if I would, if I would just throw my phone in the ocean just because I'm like, screw, just I get real upset or something. I don't know. It seems crazy. It seems odd, but I mean, it's possible he did that. But at the same time, it is very, very suspicious with everything else, surrounding it. It'd be one thing if it was just that, but there's just a lot of little suspicious things. And the unaliving incident, I did write down, let's see, what was the name of that? Okay, there's the mortuary. I need to look into that. That's his mortuary that he's supposed in California. I need to look into see if I can find any type of, because I don't know. I know that people talk to the mortuary, but I'm just like kind of wondering, could the mortuary have been like a friend of the family and lied? I don't know. Or wait, I don't know. Like, I think that maybe actually, maybe Justin said he didn't unalive himself. I think Justin tried to say he did not. But so maybe he didn't, and maybe it was natural or something. I don't know, but I don't know if I believe that he's actually, deceased. Her daughter told me, but not putting names out there. She's a child and her mom lost her kids too. What do you mean, Shannon? What do you mean her daughter told me? You've talked to her daughter directly? Wait, is this the Shannon that was on my panel the other day? Is this the one whose mother's named Pat? Sorry, I don't mean to call you out or anything. Just seeing if because that would make sense if you knew Allie. Dawn talked about one young, a 5-year-old or something being that Allie gave over to the state or some type of institution or something. And Dawn would not stop talking about it. And how he was like acted so upset about it, and how he kept talking about how beautiful the little girl was. And it started to get a little bit creepy. I'm not going to lie. And this was on a phone call between him and me. That was the same phone call that he was talking about, the 12-year-old having a body from hell. In that phone call, he seemed to be just really fixated on one of Allie's children, which was a little girl that was put into, I guess, some type of institution because she had behavioral problems. Yeah, it's not surprising that Allie doesn't have any of the kids. I'm guessing that, I mean, birds of a feather flock together, and if as close as Allie was to Candace, you know, to the point that she was staying over there for long periods of time. So that that's it. I mean, you got to think that Allie can't be like the best of people. I mean, people change, but oh, the 5-year-old was a niece. Well, whichever, if it was a niece or he was calling it her daughter, but not it. Sorry, he was calling her his Allie's daughter, but yeah, it's totally possible he was confusing Allie's niece as her daughter or something. But he was saying that Allie gave up a girl to the state because she could not handle her. And Don tried to act really upset about it because he talked about how beautiful that little girl was, and she gave the kids to people. What do you mean she just gave the kids to people? Like she just like here you can have them type thing? Like she gave her kids to friends? Because that's like kind of similar to what people have accused Candace of, so that's concerning. About these supposed babies that Candace may or may not have had. Right? Kathy, you're wanting to come up here? Yeah, that's fine. I'll text you a link. I guess I can put it in the chat. Yeah, do you mean like adopting them out, or do you mean like she was letting her mom keep them all the time type of thing? Oh, Leslie's daughter. It was Leslie's daughter who went to the state, possibly. Leslie's daughter has the youngest daughter, and H is supposed to end up staying there too. And the oldest daughter was sent to live with her dad and stepmom. It's the youngest daughter. Oldest daughter being True, you mean? Okay. Okay, so they all went to separate places, one with their dad, one with Leslie's daughter. And H supposedly, yeah. Yeah, didn't Leslie pass away? No, we didn't go to dinner. Kathy, I posted the link above. Here it is again. Oh, okay. Yeah. Like, right. I see what you're saying. Like, did she really actually give away her kids to just random people or friends? Or was it like, here, take them for like a month or something? Or here, like, she would just leave her kids for weeks at times. I mean, because we know she let her kids go over to Candace's without her there. Oh, your grandson did that? Your grandson was trying to come up on panel? Okay, that'd be cool, Shannon. And only talks to me every now and then. Not often. I feel. Yeah, definitely email me. That'd be awesome. Appreciate it. I pretty much raised her youngest 2 kids until they started school, but I never had custody of them, and they just stayed with me all the time. I know it is hard to and when people like that's why when people give me a hard time about not knowing something, like what was it, yesterday or the day before, like somebody was giving me a hard time because I didn't know. We had somebody come up on the panel who claimed to be, what do you guys think about that? What do you guys think about the lady that was on the panel that said that she had lived with Pam and Dawn 20 years ago or so for a short time, and told us that Candace was staying there with Pam and Dawn for a short time before Dawn left Pam for Candace. Well, I said something like, I didn't know that about Candace staying with them, I never heard that before. I thought, but somebody in the chat was like, oh, that's old news. You can't believe you didn't know that. Like, I can't keep, first of all, I don't have the best memory as it is. So, and if I hear something just in passing, like there's so much things mentioned on this case here on YouTube that it's so much like it's information overload, that little things like that I could have probably heard, but if I didn't really focus on it much or talk about it, then I didn't retain the information very well. I mean, I could have heard it in passing. It's very possible. But if I didn't talk about it or speak on it myself, I'm probably not going to really remember too much or too well. Allie's mom lost her grandkids, which was Allie's sister's kids. Okay, so Allie's mom lost her grandkids. And one of them said they will never get to go back there. And yes, Leslie passed. So I was told she let them have them for good. So Allie would just let her friends have her kids. So, and is this all new about? Okay, yeah, that would have been, this is kind of new, right? Within the last year that Allie's mom, which is Sherry, right? Or Allie's mom, Sherry. That Sherry lost custody of her grandkids, which were Allie's sister's kids, right? Is what you're saying? And the grandkids are not allowed to ever go back there to Sherry's? Like, how bad? what was happening so bad that they can't go back there? Like, what was happening what was the accusations? 1 second, I have to go check on this pizza.
All these people went down there for a better school system. I have a hard time buying that. They just don't seem like the kind of parents, or I'm sorry, Andrew just doesn't seem to me to be the type of parent that would care so much about something like that, to move and uproot his whole life from New York to move for a better school system. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before.
Did you make plans to like stay at the Wells, or how did that all come up?
No, no. What came about is that NASCAR was in Bristol that same weekend we left, and we didn't know it. Well, that same week, and we didn't know it. So, given Kingsport on that border of West Virginia and Tennessee, all the hotels and whatnot were taken up, and we 3 days for the house that we put a down payment on to get for those of us that were staying in Tennessee. We had to wait. And our daughter would get the extra help that she needs with her reading and whatnot, unlike they do up here, which they have this no child left behind thing. Where they just
So all of you guys went down there, and did you make plans to like stay at the Wells, or how did that all come up?
No. What came about is that NASCAR was in Bristol that same weekend we left.
So he's saying what came about was NASCAR was in Bristol that same weekend. So this is how we can verify what the time frame was, because all we have to do is look and see when NASCAR was in Bristol that weekend. That's when Jose decided he was going to stay. We know he was there in October for the incident that happened with him and Don, which Andrew says really happened, and that Jose actually got beat up in that. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't know if anything Andrew says is true or not.
We left, and we didn't know it. Well, that same week, and we didn't know it. So, given Kingsport on that border of West Virginia and Tennessee, all the hotels and whatnot were taken up, and we had to wait 3 days for the house that we put a down payment on to.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Let's see what was said here while I was gone. Okay, sounds good, Shannon. I appreciate it. I don't know what to think anymore. Seriously, it's going to be too much. Just pray she's with us. I feel she is, but my feelings damn sure aren't facts. Yeah. My sibling was working all the time. My sister-in-law was having issues, so I kept the youngest two frequently, like sometimes whole weeks. Yeah. Well, Shannon, I guess Shannon's been told is saying that she's been told that Allie would just give her kids away. If you have any proof of send me any proof of that, or if she did she benefit money wise? She wasn't just, I don't even want to, maybe I'll email you about it, because I hate even talking and putting that out into the universe because it's so gross, but it just makes you wonder what things they were really involved with. Really does. Like, what kind of sick shit was going on? So this channel is Little Wing. This is she's playing an interview from J is for Justice. That was Andrew Hilt, and Andrew Hilt was on J is for Justice, and he talked about the trip from New York. And right now, Lil Wing is talking. She's pretty good at. She's a new curator here in this community, and I think that she's one that will probably do pretty well. I mean, she's not monetized yet. She's still under 1,000 subscribers, but I just feel like she's somebody people will listen to. I don't know. You just know how you know, like some people are easier to listen to than others, you know, and sometimes some people just, she just seems like she would fit in. I think it'd be possible that the baby that Candace had and gave up for adoption when she was living with Pam and Dawn might have been Dawn's baby. Just thought. Oh, good point. Good point. Yeah, drop Lil Wayne's channel throughout. I've been doing it every once in a while. So yeah, for sure. Anytime I play somebody's channel, that would be awesome if you guys could do that. No matter who it is. Like I always try to remember, but myself, because I just want people to be able to access it, because we're not gonna be able to listen to all of this. Plus, you know, it'd be nice to get her above 1,000 subscribers. I'm sure she would appreciate you guys going over there and showing her some love. So it's raised in East Tennessee. I can't math to save my life. Our schools aren't the best. Yeah, I just picked a video. Sometimes I just happened to pick a video because we got on the topic of Andrew on this New York trip, and I think that's how, I don't know. I just randomly picked this video to watch.
Okay.
Did he literally just say 3 days? Excuse me, 3 days. So they only needed to wait 3 days to get this house. And they decided to all just go back to New York anyways because they couldn't get a hotel. And then they decided not to move when they only needed to wait 3 days. Did I hear that right?
Get for Virginia and Tennessee, all the hotels and whatnot were taken up.
Mm-hmm.
And we had to wait 3 days for the house that we put a down payment on to get. For those of us that were staying in Tennessee, we had to wait for that Monday, and we couldn't find a hotel. So Allison was trying to help us find hotels, and so was Candace and whatnot. And Jose didn't want to come back up here because his kids don't talk to him, and he had a bad breakup with his ex-wife. So.
But then Andrew later goes on to say that Jose had a girlfriend for like 1.5 years. So is that why he had a bad breakup with his wife, because he had a girlfriend too? Or is Andrew just getting his story a little mixed up here? Because he says that Jose had a girlfriend for like 1.5 years and he like went to go be with her or something.
He just wanted to get away from all the drama, have a fresh start. And Candace offered for him and us to stay, but we decided to come back to New York because this is where most of my wife's family is and 90% of mine is.
Uh-huh.
So they decided.
Okay, I already know what Lil Wayne's going to say to that. That is definitely suspect. So you just drive down there. You just like meander, just kind of like la-da-da-da-da. Let's go to Tennessee. Just, let's go on a little road trip all the way down to Tennessee from New York. That had been like 12 hours or something crazy. 10 hours, 12 hours. It had to have been around at least 10. And they're just going to go down there and think they're going to take a car full of kids. The way he talked, it sounded like it was like 6, 7 kids, which makes that even more creepy. And then they go down to Tennessee, with whining and screaming rambunctious kids. Then decide, find out it's going to be a 3-day wait. Oh, so we're just, we're going to just turn around. But they were going to move into this house. So it wasn't going to be ready for 3 days. But Jose decided not to go back with them. And they just turn around, go back. And then he goes, but, we just decided to stay up here in New York because that's where our family is and stuff. And what? So you just made a whole trip down to Tennessee for nothing. And it was so easy for you to change your mind like that and be like, I'm going to stay up here. What? Am I hearing this right? 8 to 10 hours. He said they didn't have enough money for a motel, but what it cost them to travel back was money too. Plus, he said they were tired that night, yet turned around, right around and drove 11 more hours. Exactly. It's probably a drug thing. At the very least, it probably was a drug thing. If it was a there and back thing. I could see druggies doing that. Driving if they were going on a drug run. I could see it. I could see them, druggie, like driving 10 hours to pick up a bunch of drugs, with a car full of kids because, they're addicted and just making horrible decisions anyways. So why not, right? And no, that's so strange. Yeah, why take the whole family too? If they would just make this whole trip down there. They're going to move in down there. Then 3 days later decide, oh, well, our family's up here. Decide not to. Like what? Most ludicrous story ever. Exactly. Oh, you're in New York? You can get to Detroit, Michigan in about 8 hours. Oh, okay. I was just thinking that it used to take us to get here from West Virginia to Indiana, or because we used to go back and forth to Indianapolis all the time, me and Jim, and it was 4.5 hour, about 4 hours at least, 4.5 usually, and that's just, it's another hour to Pennsylvania. So I was just guesstimating, but of course you wouldn't take the same way to go to New York. It would probably be some kind of shortcuts. Hey, Chef Angelo. Oh, from Kingsport, it takes to Detroit. Yeah, but New York's way up there and it's like curved, Detroit, Michigan's a straight shot, right? I don't know. I'll look it up. Hey, Alexa. How long does it take to get from New York to Rogersville, Tennessee? I should have said.
From New York, a drive to Rogersville would take about 10 hours and 35 minutes.
10 hours and 35 minutes. So that's just from New York, probably state line. But from wherever they were coming from, it was probably a little bit longer. Hey, Alexa, how long does it take to get from Cloversville, New York to Rogersville, Tennessee?
From Gloversville, a drive to Rogersville would take about 13 hours and 9 minutes.
It's over 12 hours, 13 hours and 9 minutes with a car full of children. Okay. Yeah, that seems logical, right? Seems normal. 11 hours. Yeah, they probably it might have taken them 11 hours, BB. They might have they probably rushed it down there because they were in a hurry to get their drugs. I'm just kidding. Allegedly, I don't know. Bunch of men that came down, no mention of kids. I know they didn't. Exactly. No mention of kids. Exactly. Where did these kids from? I didn't think there was kids that were on the trip. I heard it was like a van full of men. That's what I heard, a van full of Mexicans. Did anybody else hear that same thing? And so that is a little baffling to now hear that there's, 5, 6 kids coming along. When I thought it was like a bunch of, I thought that I swear I heard somewhere a bunch of like 12 Mexicans. Yeah, the potty breaks. Gosh. Really? They knew before and they didn't turn around and go back. They just like kept going. Weird. Do 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 do. I need that sound bite. Do 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 do. Let me write that down. He said 3 or 4 kids, a man and woman. Wow. Gas mileage. Last time I went to New York City was, I think, 2010. It was last year. The Yankees played in the Old Stadium about 10 hours. Sounds about right. So, because you're in the Tennessee area, aren't you? I've never been to travel to New York except, like, I don't think I've ever just traveled to New York or really even been in the state. I haven't been to a lot of the New England area. Like, I haven't been to Maine or Vermont or areas up there or Rhode Island or anything like that. One time I was at the New York airport to go to Spain when I was like 16. But that's it. It doesn't really count. Like, I've been to certain states. Like, when people ask me, have I been to Colorado? Well, not really. I've been to the airport there, but that's it. Hopefully, Kathy.
To move to get out of New York. Then as soon as they got where they were moving to, they found out it was going to be 3 days and they couldn't get a hotel. So they were like, oh, screw it. We're just going to go back because that's where our family is anyways. This doesn't add up to me. I'm very suspicious. And the more I listen to it, the more suspicious I am. And I just want to know why they really went to Tennessee. And I know if I ask, he won't tell me. But I really want to know why they really went to Tennessee because this story doesn't sound right to me. It just doesn't seem correct. And like I said, I could be totally wrong on this, but something just seems fishy here.
With the exclusion of Hunter, of course, because Hunter lives in Tennessee.
So you guys left.
Yeah, we left, but Jose made the choice to stay there.
So he was left behind.
No, he was not left behind.
Did you see Donald?
No, I never met him. I actually only met Summer once, and it was that day when we were getting ready to come back to New York because Hunter just got out of school and he was happy to be down there. And due to the current New York court order, anytime I pass through Tennessee or whatever, Ellison has to bring him to me so I could see him for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
So Ellison was just going by court order at the time, and he just got out of school along with the other kids. So he come up, we hung out for a little bit, and he wanted one of the cats that we had with us, and I said, all right, cool, man, go ahead, you take care of that little baby. And
So he wanted one of the cats that they had. I think Summer ended up getting that cat, if I remember correctly.
They brought a freaking kitten with them? Did I just hear that right? Thank you, Tennessee Poppy Seed. Every time I see you, I keep always... let me write it down. Every time I see you, I'm reminded about to email you. You say you only met Hunter once? He said he only met Summer once. Summer.
I could be wrong on that, but I think that's what I heard. Not that it matters.
as far as I know, that cat was good and healthy. I couldn't tell you.
Yes. So did you?
I feel like he doesn't want to talk about the subject anymore, and that's why he started talking about the cat.
You know that Donald was in Utah, or like where were you told?
Anything about this person?
You didn't. So Allison had never talked about Candace and them?
Well, no, Candace was with him.
Right, but had she talked about, did she tell you about Candace and Don prior to you coming down, or was that like a new name for you?
Her and Candace were good friends. That's all I knew.
Okay. So, but you didn't know anything about Don?
No. We came back up here a few days, like about a week later or so. I get a phone call from Hunter saying that that it's cool that Jose stuck around and whatnot, that he likes hanging out with him. I said, that's good, man, but just remember, don't let him play daddy. You only got one of those.
And so he was trying to say, okay, Hunter, now you're my son, so don't let some other dude try and be your dad. But you can be friends with him and be cool with him. That's fine. So apparently Hunter and Jose were close.
So Hunter was staying at the Wells too? Hunter was staying at the Wells too?
No. Hunter would go over and hang out for a night or two. He was never living there.
So apparently Hunter would go over to the Wells and stay for a couple nights, but he never actually lived there, according to Andrew.
Okay, so he would just hang out.
Allison and Hunter never lived at that house at all.
Okay.
But I thought Allie lived there for a little bit. Didn't she didn't she stay there for like a couple weeks when Jose was there?
So how did Allison, do you know how she got home from the Wells when Jose stayed? Because that's what I've been confused about. Like she was saying Candace drove her home.
Everywhere. They were like basically sisters. Pardon my language here. I know you're right and all, but they were basically like lick me sisters.
So they were always together, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What did he call them? Lick me sisters? Lick me sisters? I've never heard something like that. I've heard like, oh my gosh. Why do you have to say sisters? He's Thank you. Yes, I did, Samantha. I did. We were talking about that earlier. I did. Thank you, Shannon. I was actually looking over it right now. I'm going to read it once I get off this live, like in full, but I'm kind of looking at it right now. Oh, that would be awesome if you get like the old messages for sure. She was so ready to leave. We were raised completely different. We are best friends. We say we are North and South at its best. The best of both worlds. It's J for Justice. Yes, it's J for Justice on Little Wing. It's Little Wing reviewing J is for Justice, basically. And I was looking for Summer Wells videos, and I just I played her. Hers is the one I picked. She went over it 7 hours ago. I just happened to start watching it, and I'm kind of went with it because it's talking about, or she's talking about something that we've talked about over here recently too, which I think it's really important to look into, is this New York trip. That needs to be like really dug into, because something's strange with that. But we cannot also, the whole like Earl Taylor passing away, we also can't, just forget about that either, because I think that could be also important. And Summer deal what I heard, and I'm not sure if the kids got taken over it and she had to find someone to take them, but I know she has. I don't know, Samantha. That's what we were talking about too. Whether if Tiffany will respond. I kind of don't think so. I kind of think it will be like the AB situation, and she'll just like kind of go away for a couple weeks. Like that's what that seems to be the pattern with her. Like I've noticed, like what she does, because as much as she throws herself into the drama and watches the drama and stuff constantly, I guess that's how she has to do it to recharge her freaking brain. I don't know, because I can't deal with, I mean, she watches like all this stuff about herself, and I'm talking about Tiffany and Marie. Because if you notice, anytime somebody's live about her, really talking about her, she shows up, and she's there with about 20 other people, sometimes more. So that's got to be really tiring and very, I mean, when your whole life is YouTube, because you got to think Discord, going in Discord and watching these live parties when you're not live on, you're sitting here watching other people's YouTubes when you're not live on YouTube, when she already was pretty active, she coming on here pretty often and hours at a time. I mean, there would be no room for anything else. And that means your whole life is YouTube. Mine used to be like that, but I've like slowly moved away from being 100, my whole life being YouTube. It kind of gets shut off. And sometimes it's not like where I look at it as work, but sometimes I set it's like, okay, right now, nothing about YouTube. I'm not going to text anything about YouTube or because I try to separate sometimes, because when I get to talk about this stuff, it's just like, it becomes my whole life, I know, Samantha, but they're both like similar, really.
Okay, so Candace and Allie were like besties, apparently, according to Andrew. And then this whole Jose thing happened and it tore him apart, I think is what happened. And that could also have something to do with maybe why Candace wouldn't let her kids off the hill, because she was mad at her because of Jose. I have no idea. I'm still a little bit lost on the whole Jose and who he was getting with thing.
No, Andrew, you're fine. We're all adults, right? So can you, I'm sorry, go ahead.
All right, this stuff where in 2018, Allison came up here and was charged with something with abuse of child or whatever. No. She was never charged with any of that.
She wasn't?
What it was is that the initial charge that I got her with was parental kidnapping, but by the end of the court, by the end of that whole court session, it was dropped, and it went to modification of visitation and custody. That's me, so we're not together. You do what you do. It's not going to offend me none. You know? I mean, I was being honest with him. She left me for a dirt merchant, as I like to call him, and while I was doing 2 months in jail for non-payment of child support. Son felt some sort of way about it, and he didn't want.
So now he's talking about, I skipped it ahead a little bit, but now he's talking about how apparently, allegedly, Candace and Jose hooked up and Hunter walked in on it. And he was calling his dad all upset because he thought Jose was with his mom, Allie, and he just walked in on Candace and Jose. And if it's true that Candace and Hunter had something going on, which I don't know, guys. If it's true, God, that's terrible. Really, that's really awful. And I hope Hunter can live a better life. It doesn't seem like he was living the best life that he could down there in Kingsport. Hopefully he's living a better life now. But if he really was having a relationship with Candace, God forbid, he was probably upset even more so walking in on Candace and Jose doing it, according to Andrew.
Our friendship to be affected because he was going with my son's mother, and him and Hunter got close, like friends close, not like pervertedness. And he was, and when Jose made the choice to basically flop between friends, it broke my son's heart, and he started acting out a little bit. And trust me, those phone calls weren't fun. But I don't want it to affect any decisions that the judge is going to be making.
Okay.
Thank you for that.
He's a kid.
And I'm not going to be like Allison and your sugarcoat shit. I'll give it to you.
I hear you. I respect that.
But it's difficult because I have a funny disposition on things. Like me, my parents raised me to have an open mind, and so far my mind is so good that if my mind was any further open, my brain would fall out. Let's put it like that. So, but the way I look at it is, some of the comments, like, I don't like them. They don't look right. They don't smell right. And then I was pinpointed to a different YouTube channel where Candace's friend or whatever went on and said that for the definitive fact, Candace told her she was messing around with Hunter.
So that's the part I was trying to get to. Sorry about that. It's the part where he says Candace, for a definitive fact, was messing around with Hunter per some Facebook messages that he saw. And like I said, this is all alleged. This is according to Andrew. This is what he's saying himself, and he's Hunter's dad. But he doesn't seem quite angry enough about it, in my opinion, if he really thinks it's true.
And everybody's like, well, why don't you press charges, get her for, sexual abuse or whatever for Hunter? And I'm like, well, right now with the Summers Wells case, I can say something, but they're not really going to do anything until either Summers is home or found by the police, and I hate to say this, y'all, or they find a body.
Oh, yeah, Earl Taylor. I'm sorry, Earl Taylor. What did I say his name was? What was the month before? What was a month within Summer's disappearance? Oh, okay. Drove out to Ben Hill to the Meadows and Jonesboro a few times just because there was a lot of discussion about the timeline. Yeah, okay. Let me scroll back. Oh, yeah, Earl Taylor. Earl Taylor. He passed away. He was found face down in a creek the day after Summer's disappearance. and he has a lot of connections. Which is not, it doesn't mean much that he's cousins with Marlena, but because everybody's related down there. But what is weird is he was married to somebody named Celesta, or Celeste. They pronounce it like Celeste Taylor, or Matt, or her maiden name's, I think, Maddox. But then he ends up face down in a creek dead, and his estranged wife, who is Celeste Maddox, she was like back and forth between him and Rick Crawford, it seems like, or either that was with Rick Crawford right after Earl Taylor, but she never divorced Earl Taylor. And Earl Taylor, and Ricky Crawford, her new man, is the brother of Marlena Crawford. That's why it's very suspect. Yeah, Greenville, Tennessee. Yeah, Athena's back there. She's not very happy right now because Caitlin went to her friends. Oh, you just went a little bit on Ben Hill. You went a little bit down Ben Hill. You didn't want to go. I know it is scary the first time, like going on Ben Hill Road is kind of scary because of everything you've heard. And, and also mainly because a child went missing. It's kind of eerie, that you're right where this child went missing. And then you hear these stories about, crazy meth people and stuff, and just craziness, shootings and shit on that road. So yeah, it does seem like kind of scary going deep into Ben Hill Road, like, deep down the road. But I don't know, after you do it though once, it gets easier and easier. This interview with JS for Justice and Andrew is a long time ago. This interview, would have been, I wish she would have put the link to the interview in this description, but this would have been towards the beginning in 2021. I think I just noticed it yesterday, Sunshine. I noticed the email. Thank you so much. I remember looking for it, though, like a few days ago. I'm like, or several days ago, I think. I'm like, did she send it? I couldn't find it. So I think you may have sent it later than that. It was kind of late or something, or later, a couple days later. But I did end up seeing it eventually. I just haven't made any yet. As long as you keep moving and turn around and leave as quick as you turn, you're fine. It's not the worst hollow in the Tri-Cities. Yeah, and I mean, you want to, especially if you have, it would be scary as a female probably going down there by yourself. Now, if you have somebody with you, it's, another adult, or especially somebody from the area, it's like not as bad. But then I've been on Ben Hill Road, gosh, I don't know, at least 20 times or something, all the way down it. And been standing out there just walking around like nothing. Nobody, as long as you don't make a scene, don't go out there acting like you don't got any sense or something. Let's see, I just got another email from, I think, about the Oh, okay. Thank you for sending me that, Shannon. I won't post the ones that you don't want me to. I understand. Because it has to do with I get it. It's personal. Anytime somebody sends me something that they really don't want put out, I respect that, I really do. So don't ever, I know it's scary trusting YouTubers. I mean, all my calls are recorded. I always tell people that it's not a secret. It's just, it saved my ass like so many times. So it's just, and that's just ever since I started doing YouTube. Because there's so many people that come on here and just completely straight up lie. Like, just make the craziest lies. So, yeah, it is smart if you ever start YouTube to get, I don't know. I think iPhone probably has I think they have something automatically that you can record calls, but, and many Android phones do, but mine doesn't. And if yours doesn't, it's Cube ACR is the best, the only one I've found that actually works. But it's a smart thing to do. They all act like H. Damien and the three brothers are all guilty, so everyone is covering it up. No, I don't guess. I've hung out there, like, I've been over sitting. I mean, I didn't bring my daughter out there at night. It gets kind of creepy at night out there, especially when you're told that there's 200-pound monkeys running about and they attack. That it gets creepy, yeah. And then, Fred has this dog that's dark as midnight, and he's scary looking. The dog, he's a big, scary looking, I think part pit bull, but he's really sweet. He's sweet, but I mean, I don't know how he'd be if he didn't know somebody, like, and they were trying to do something. So don't do any funny business out there thinking that dog's not going to attack. But I'm just saying, like, there's a scary dog out there he has, and yeah, it's creepy at night. But after like the first time I'd been out there, it was like nothing going down the road. I went down there like I'd lived down there, lived on the road. I never had anybody stop me or say anything out of the way to me. You just have to be respectful. You don't go in there like an idiot and, making a fool of yourself. Like, be respectful of people's privacy and their property. And usually people will leave you alone. Truly, I've been out there, sitting out there because the time before last time, so the second time I went out there, I hadn't seen Fred at all, and I already had been there. I was about to leave, and it was my last chance, and so I went out there. It was like 10 o'clock at night when his girlfriend told me that she'd be back, and I went out there, and that's when that whole like incident happened where somebody was on my ass, and this is like, that was kind of scary, but I just stayed calm because I was way down deep in Ben Hill Road at like 10 o'clock at night by myself, driving back to Fred Hills, and all of a sudden, a truck that was like, I saw headlights coming up behind me, and I was like, oh my, it was creepy out there, especially and they started like being up on my ass and like right behind me, and I'm like, oh my god, this person's trying to like be like, what the fuck are you doing out here type thing. But I stayed calm because I was thinking, well, it's probably Fred. Just just stay calm, act like you're supposed to be here. Of course, my license plate says Indiana. So, but it was Fred, and he was videoing my license plate. So, because I guess there is people that go out there and try to cause issues, but unfortunately, speaking of Fred, that makes me think I was told that people had it's always been really kind of tough to get a hold of him. So, but I don't know, now people are trying to tell me that, oh, there was some YouTubers that contacted Fred and told him not to talk to me, which I don't think that would work because I mean, he knows that the shit I get on YouTube, I really doubt that would work. Unless they told him some major lie or something, but it's very normal for me not to hear back from Fred sometimes for several days. But I'm trying to get a hold of him. I just started trying to message him a few days ago, and I'm trying to get a hold of him and ask him about Earl Taylor and Celeste Maddox. But I wonder why that wouldn't have been worked out before. You would think before you take the long trek all the way down to Tennessee, go 13 hours away, you would think that you would have everything planned out. Who does that? Who just like leaves? If they were moving down there, that doesn't even make sense to me. What they do? Were they going to just abandon like their lease? And did they have where's all their stuff? It sounds like they would have had a van full of people. How would there have been room for their stuff? I mean, it doesn't make sense. And then I don't know. Thank you, Jamie. I try to stay out of Hawkins County. Like when I was last there, for the most part, I don't go into Hawkins County except the little bit of time that you're in there for, when you cross over out of Sullivan into Hawkins, and you're hardly in Hawkins for very long. But yeah, I don't really like being in Hawkins County. The last time I didn't want to be in Hawkins just because it wasn't anything to do with like Ben Hill Road. It had more to do with the law enforcement there. I don't trust them. And I'm not someone that's like that, that's all like a nervous, scared type person. So if I just was like, I've been talking a lot of shit about Ronnie, Lawson lately. I don't want to. Your kids sent me Fancy birthday songs? Oh, what do you mean? They sent me fancy birthday songs. What'd you do? Did you send me a message that I didn't hear? Oh, I still have a bunch of messages in my messenger on Facebook. I'm not open from people like with birthday wishes, but I will definitely check it out. They're all wasted. That's why it doesn't make sense. I guess it's good that it doesn't make sense, right? Or that these people don't make sense to us, because then that means we're like them. We think like them, and I don't want to think like people like that. We listen in the morning as for. Oh, that's okay, Pam. I know we watched it at the beginning, Pam. We watched that when I first went live like that, because the verdict came in as soon as I went live, and I was not aware, and so we watched it and stuff, and yeah, I was like, my heart was beating fast and everything. It was quite intense. No, I don't know. He isn't. He's a very nice. He's somebody that you can't. In order to talk to him, you really have to just go there. So, we don't really get to talk that often, but I am kind of. I hope it's not true that they're not talking to me just because of something. I'm sure people will message them and try to say, "Oh, don't trust Ziggy." They hear all this shit going on YouTube. They're not completely he doesn't watch the stuff. He doesn't get involved really too much, but she sometimes will, I'm sure, tell him stuff that she heard on YouTube. Laura sometimes watches it, so she's very aware of, so I can't imagine people messaging them would change anything or make them feel any type of way. But you never know. Who knows? What people have said and did the most horrible things, like contacting Jim's family after his death. That's just, you never think somebody do that, but. DP. Oh no, he won't get the. I think the death penalty is off the table, right? He doesn't have an opportunity to get the death penalty, does he? For some reason, I'm thinking he doesn't. Is it possible Alex can get the death penalty? I could have sworn that's off the table. If I stop assaulting you, in what way? How did I insult you? They also had a U-Haul truck. Oh. Really? Where'd you find that about, Lone Wolf? Where can we find something on that? I've never heard that. The only person that lives with Fred is Laura. A mental problem? I don't know. I know Laura, she has bad anxiety. So I'm guessing, I do know Fred is not very he's super nice, but he's not extremely social. I do know that Laura deals with depression, anxiety, so I would guess it would be maybe her. I've never gone out there with there being anybody else out there at Fred's. So it's weird the way it's that, because the way it seems, the way the stories we hear, it sounds like there would be people in and out of there all the time, purchasing drugs or whatever. But I never have seen anybody even really on that road. I mean, I have like a couple times passed somebody on the road, but I've never seen somebody down at Fred's. The hills have Fred. It's okay, RJ. I don't know what that means. All right, guys. I think I'm going to get off here. I don't know where everybody is tonight. Where is everybody? I guess I'll have to go see what everybody's watching. And I'll check that email. Thank you, Shannon, for the email. I'm going to check it out for sure. It's very much appreciated. Sissy's twins. Okay. All right, guys. Good night. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for the birthday wishes and everything. Who knows? If I'm up for a while, it's only 10 p.m. here. I might be back. You never know. Yeah, I don't know where everybody is. Thank you, country girl, but I might be back in a little bit. Possibly. You never know. I was planning on today, since it was my birthday, doing like an all-dayer or an all-nighter, but obviously that didn't happen. I mean, there's still time for all-nighter, but I don't know. We need to get it more lively. If we can get it more, raise the roof. Something good, people. Maybe if I find something, or if I have something passionate, like I see something on YouTube. I mean, the Benny thing, like, I don't really have anything to. It just wasn't as exciting as they made it seem. They made it seem like there was just like oh my God, Tiffany did something horrible. And I'm sure she always, people know how she is. What, Athena? Are you going to come over to Grandma's house tonight? We call it Grandma's house when Athena, when I try to get Athena to sleep with me in my bed, but she won't. She gets so nervous. Like, even when Caitlin's not here, she won't sleep in my bed with me because she has to be in my daughter's room, just sitting there waiting for her for hours on end. Poor little thing. She figured out, she got the door open to the gate. What, Athena's? Okay, you little rascal. Come here. There you go. You little pretty little thing. I don't understand why she's so much prettier than the other dogs. Okay, I mean, there's a lot of pretty dogs up on Ben Hill Road, but there were, but she just looks different than them. Her ears stick up all the way, and her waist is really thin, and her chest is really big. She's like athletic built. Aren't you? You're just so schmexy. Oh. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. I think that she just hid the channel. No, you can't just. Are you coming over to Grandma's tonight? Are you actually gonna? And the thing is, for some reason, she won't let me cuddle with her. Like, she'll sit there and she likes to be under the blankets when she sleeps, completely under. Like, she wants to be under the blankets, which is cute and all. But with me, she wants to. She sits there and nudges my hand the whole time, and she won't cuddle. Like, and it's like I can't go to sleep because she's sitting there nudging. If I stop petting her, she's like has a conniption, and so then I have to and then I start to fall asleep, and then she just keeps, she won't let me just go to sleep, but for some reason she'll sit there and cuddle with Caitlin. Won't you? Oh, she's the sweetest, guys. I'm not trying to brag or anything. She just really has been a blessing to us, really. And it's funny because I really like it was true. Well, it is true. I'm just not much of a dog person. That's very true. It's because I don't find very many dogs that I really, that I like because they're too rambunctious or whatever, for whatever reasons. But she is just, oh my gosh. She is just amazing. I know I brag so much about you. You're so sweet. All right, guys. I might be back. Talk to you later. Tina won't even let me hit end broadcast because she's like nudging my hand. Tina.